gonna tie a fly that I usually tie this time of year, usually in April and May. Here in Louisiana, and I figured probably most of the other southern states, we get what we call web worms. Where they in the trees they build them webs, and it's like hundreds of these little wiggly worms in them. And the bluegills love it because usually when they get big enough, they tear their way out and they fall down to the ground, right? And this is my imitation of the webworm. And they float on the water, so you want something that doesn't sink or sink fast. Like when I tie this fly, I usually tie it with just the hook shank itself for the weight. That way it hits the water and the Chanel will get wet and it'll slowly start sinking. And boy, they'll come up and just nail it. But that's what we're going for. We're going for, that looks just like one of them white boogers. And they're usually white or they're green, but I like them because it's one of the only few insects we have here, especially here in Louisiana, that don't bite or sting. Now they got the black caterpillars and nothing eats those things, and they just, I don't know what part of Hades they come from, but they're here as well. I'm going to use a number 10 hook. Basically, these are the angled eyelet. I think this is like a medium shank hook. It's not a very long hook. I got one in there already. This hook's probably about a little bit over half of an inch, almost probably about 3/4 of an inch in length. But we're going to use brown fly thread. I'm going to just give it a base right here. I usually work the thread right to about the hook point. Work it back and forth a few times just to make sure it stays on there. And we're going to leave the thread in the back by the hook. And of course the wind picks up. Why not? Why wouldn't it? All right, so we got that in there. I'm going to take my tan Chanel. This is small size Chanel, and we're going to tie it on the back, get it on there, a couple good loops to get it on there, and we're going to use hackle, grizzly hackle. Get it expressed out a little bit right there. I'll take that. This is a really easy fly. We're going to get that tied in the back right here. I usually leave the thread about halfway because I like to put a middle wrap. All right, so we're going to take the Chanel, we're going to start wrapping it up the hook shank. Reminds me of the bluegill bug I fly. Come on, right. There was no wind out here whatsoever until I start filming this, and of course. But you get the soothing sounds of the chimes, right? All right, so I work that halfway, and then I put in a loop around that. Then we're gonna go ahead and finish working the Chanel up to the front. I stop a little ways before the hook point, the hook eye, just to give it a little room, because you don't want to overcrowd the eyelet. It ain't nothing worse than when you go get a fly and you go to tie that fly on, and you don't put too much material around the eyelet. I got to make sure I keep an eye on that fly on the ground. I shit you not, one time I was out here tying flies, and my fly was on the table, and a lizard came down and was eyeballing my fly to hurry up and get it, because I would have felt so bad if that lizard would have grabbed that fly and ran off with it. I'm like, oh, I would have felt bad. All right, so we're going to take our Chanel, and we're going to start wrapping it just like we do like a woolly booger. And we're gonna wrap that hackle. Did I say Chanel? I probably did. We're gonna wrap that hackle around it. Ain't gotta be perfect. Just give it a couple wraps on it like that. There we go. All right. Then we're gonna secure it. Like I said, this is a super easy fly, but it looks just like one of them caterpillars, and them bluegills, man, the bluegills murder it. All right, so that's pretty much it. We're gonna go ahead and Go ahead and start putting the head of it on. Put a couple wraps on the head right there and get it started. There we go. Kind of give it a little bulbous head in the front, because that's what the caterpillars have, that big head right in the front. All right, so we got that down. Let's go ahead and finish it. There we go. Cut that off. I like putting a little bit of the either put glue on it or put epoxy on it. A little bit of epoxy on the head right there. There we go. Don't take much. Hit it with that black light. That's it. That is it. That is my caterpillar fly. Anything this ugly has to catch fish, right? But it's a pretty good imitation of them. Like I said, this will hit that water, and then as soon as the Chanel get wet, it'll slowly start sinking down. And man, just put the whomping on them.